Hello, hello, and welcome to today's business success training on getting grant ready. I am your host for today, Regina Coley. I am the CEO of Motivator Inc. I serve as a consultant and I also am a freelance grant writer. And this training is so important to me because I get a lot of calls and inquiries from business owners who are really excited at the idea of presenting their businesses in grant competitions, pitch competitions, RFPs, response for proposals, and they see that there's a lot of money available, or they're newly nonprofit businesses, and they think that just because they have a nonprofit that they're ready for grants. And there tends to be a lot of work that I realize I'm saying over and over and over again to clients before they're ready. So I figured I would share this getting grant ready training with you all today so that if you find yourself in this position, you know some of the things that you need to work on before you just decide, hey, I'm ready to apply for some grants. So I hope that you're ready. I hope that you have your notebook ready. We're going to cover a lot of things today that I think will be beneficial to you as a business owner or just anybody in business who's looking to start to apply for funding. So let's jump into it. Welcome, welcome. If you're ready to take your business to the next level through grants or funding, which we're going to kind of go through a little bit of both, this mini training is a great place to start. I'm going to go over a lot of helpful hints so that you know what to do, so that you are ready before you hit the apply button. A little bit about me. I'm your trainer for today, Regina Coley. I'm the CEO of Motivator Inc., where we help women to understand their significance, radiate their brilliance, and make their mark. I'm a wife and a mom of eight. I am an educational consultant and personal growth coach, meaning that I also serve in a variety of capacities. Outside of just this grant writing opportunity, I help with program development, curriculum writing. I work with executives as well as entrepreneurs to help them prep and just get ready. There's so much that goes into building a business where you have to focus on self and focus on strategy and focus on systems. And so, having been in this space for about 12 years as both an educator and an entrepreneur, this is where I pride myself, and especially being a mom of eight. It's hard to find that work life balance between the work and the things that you want to do. So I have set out to really focus on creating a bunch of services and products that really will motivate women and girls. And I'm an award winning advocate for girls. And I'm very proud of that work. I'm very proud to say that I have also served as the executive director of Leading Ladies of Legacy, which is a nonprofit I founded 12 years ago, and it has been the beginning of me understanding this grant writing process because I too was of the same mindset that once I get that 501c3 status, that the world was going to open up for me and I was going to be able to do all these wonderful things in my business. And it just didn't work out that way. So, what I'm going to share with you is a variety of the strategies and things that I learned as an entrepreneur and the things that I've learned over the years that have been really helpful to me in an effort to help you maximize your time as a business owner, entrepreneur, representative of your organization or company so that you can be as successful as possible. So, on today's agenda, we are going to cover vision and mission. We're going to talk about the activities and experience, its importance in your business when it comes to applying for grants and applying for funding. We're going to talk budget, that dreaded word a lot of people are afraid of. You're going to talk team. We're going to talk presence and branding, and I'm going to give you some tips for prep. Except for this is not going to be like an all day thing. I'm going to give you the mini shortened version of it so we can just get to the meat and potatoes. I hate people who drag out conversations really long to make it seem like it's really long and important. Just get to the parts that we need. That is me as a trainer. I hope that's okay with you. So let's get into it. Okay, so we're going to start here. This is really important. When I talk to business owners and I ask them to share with me the vision of your business, share with me what is most important to you, what you're hoping to accomplish, what you hope to gain by way of funding, what is it that you're trying to fund, they typically share with me their passion for their work. A lot of people do share with me their mission statement. But when it comes down to it, and we're applying for those grants and we're sitting down, we're filling out stuff. People want to know your vision for your organization, your mission for your organization, your corporate values. There are so many entrepreneurs who do not know this information for themselves, and it is a bit disheartening, especially for those who are founders of organizations who can rattle off to me all of the reasons why you went into business and yada yada, and here's what you want to do. You need to write it out in the form of a vision statement. So, a vision statement is a business vision, is an aspirational concept of what a business wishes to become. This is very forward thinking, future thinking. Um, it's a long term goal that outlines the desired success and growth of the organization. The vision statement should be inspiring and encapsulate the purpose, the values, and the goals of the company. That is a very hard thing to do and then articulate it into one sentence or statement, but it is possible. So, for your organization, for your business, if it's not something you founded, likely this is something that already exists. If it is something that you have found, that this is something that you have to create, and it's the big overarching thing of why you're in business, why you started this thing, why you started this project, what you hope to see happen in our world, boom, that is your vision statement. You want to reduce that down to one sentence, but you got to know what it is. And not only that, you got to write it down and document it. But more importantly, you have to know what that is. I think that um, business owners get really excited about creating things and they go look at what other organizations are doing. And so they create this beautifully written vision statement. But when I ask you what it is, or ask your team members what it is, nobody knows what it is. And that's a problem. If you have a vision statement, it should be this thing that everyone is working towards. And it's the it leads to the growth of your business. So everyone in the company should know what it is. So I'm really big on not just copying something that you got from another site because you see that they're successful and you feel like if you model after in that certain way, you'll be successful too. But really taking some time to think about what this means for you, what it means for the purposes of your business, and does it align with the goals and the values of what it is that you're trying to create. And on that note, we're going to jump into the mission statement. So, a business's mission is a statement that defines an organization's purpose and its core values. It serves as a guide for daily operations, decision making, and long term strategy. Again, so many businesses are cut and pasting what they see and it's like, oh, let me take that word out and replace it with my word, or let me take this adjective out and replace it with that one. And yeah, boom, now it's me. But you don't understand how a mission statement is there as a marker. And if it's something that's supposed to guide your daily operations, that means every day when you sit down to your computer, you sit down to your desk, you open up your planner, you are driven by this mission that your business seeks to exist every single day. This mission statement should be inspiring yet achievable and should provide clear direction for your employees to work towards. That means you, as the head of your company, that means volunteers who are coming in. This is whether this is a nonprofit or for profit, everybody needs to know what this mission is. And likely, this is what attracts people to want to work with you anyway. So, this is extremely important that this is honed in and really, really makes sense. And it should also, in some sense, reflect the values and the culture of your company, although you'll create values, which is something separate and apart from the mission statement. It should be still a reflection of that within your mission statement. Now, your values are the guiding principles that define your organization's culture, the behavior, and the beliefs. They're rules for how the employees interact with each other, how your customers interact with the company, how the stakeholders interact with the company, and it's how decisions are going to be made. So examples include integrity, customer service, collaboration, innovation. I know within our company, one of our values is dare to be different because we want to be different. We want to offer something different than what already exists in the world. And that requires a really innovative and creative mindset, all of which is extremely important within our company. We want it to be fun, we want it to be bubbly. That's why you'll see it even down to the logo design that we chose, the party swirl or the confetti, because we wanted to be a celebration. We wanted to be something fun. We wanted to be something that's not stoic when you come and you experience the Motivator brand. And so these values will show up not only in the way that people speak, it'll show up in how you present your brand and create brand awareness. So knowing what these values are is extremely important. I think a lot of people's business values kind of tend to be the same thing. Integrity is important, customer service, but those are things that should already exist within a good business anyway. So sometimes those values need to extend outside of those basic common knowledge things into things that are really important to you. One of the other values of my business is family first. I would never tell somebody that you have to work and let's say your child is in a play and I'm like, but we have a thing. Pick which is more important. I'm going to tell you your family is more important. Your family is always more important. Please go to your child's play. We'll figure out something else in terms of how you can get coverage for this. But you know that you have a job. Things are important on your job, but your job should never supersede your family. That's my personal belief system. That's how I behave. I'm going to always put my family first. So why would I tell anybody else who works for me anything other than that or anything different? That's our first ministry. That's our first priority. That is a part of our values statements. So thinking about what is important to you, especially if you are the founder of an organization, this is typically like you're the one who is putting your personal values or things that are important to you into the company that you're building. And they may change over time, but it's extremely important to lay that foundation from the very beginning so that everyone understands what the values are. So they're all working together towards a shared vision and the purpose. So when you're getting grant and funding, you also want to look at other corporations who share the same values. If you don't know what your values are, you can't then tell another company we share the same values or we share the same mission or our visions are in alignment with one another. That is a huge part of going after funding is making those correlations between the companies that you may want sponsorship from, or you want grants from, or you want funding from, is having these things and then saying, this is how we fit into the puzzle of what you're trying to do. Or I think that we should partner together because I see that there's some congruency here for us to work on X, Y, and Z. But you got to know what these things are. You got to set them and they got to be in writing. They need to be visible. They need to be understood. They need to become a part of your organization's culture and identity. So these are extremely important places to begin. And my tip for you is to know your why, know your mission, know your vision, know your values, and don't just write them down, know them. Like know them in the back of your mind. One of the best things and resources that I've had, I'm going to share two with you today. One is grab a copy of Michael Hyatt's book, The Vision Driven Leader. This book changed the game for me in terms of creating a vision. And mind you, I just read this book maybe, I want to say 3, 4 years ago, and I've been in business for 12, 13 years. So this even changed the game for me, knowing everything that I've learned thus far, looking at the questions that are proposed in this book and how they help you to scale your business and think long term and just simplify maybe something that you overthought or overworded and make it really easy and plain. And I also love the way that the book kind of expanded my thoughts on certain things. So if you are a visionary, you consider yourself to be the founder or visionary leader of your company, this book will be really beneficial for you. You'll sit down, you'll work on a vision script for your business, and it's really great in terms of having a direction that you're headed in. Another resource that was extremely helpful for me was Donald Miller's book, Business Made Simple. And this goes into leadership, marketing, execution, management, personal productivity, and more. It is awesome. It is one of the books that is a catalyst for me. He also has a business academy. If you go to businessmadesimple.com, I believe it is, there's like an online academy training thing that comes along with this book, and I went through that and it really helped me. He really honed in on the fact that a lot of people don't know and haven't memorized their mission statement because it's really wordy and it's really long and it's really drawn out. He went through a method that helped me to simplify and memorize it to where I can rattle off. Motivator Inc. helps women understand their significance, radiate their brilliance, make their mark. Boom, that's what we do. That's what we're going to do through all things, through the programs, through conversations, through, with all of our stakeholders. It's what we do. And I think it's great. I was one of the people, I was like, this got to look really good on paper. It's got to be long. It's got to be 2 to 3 sentences, our mission statement, but I couldn't tell you what it was. And I don't think that's a good thing for a business owner to not know. So really make it simple. When he says he makes business simple, it is. So go there, check out those. If you're watching this video, I've linked both of these books in the description. They are affiliate links, just to give that disclaimer, because hey, we're in the business of business. So that's that. Go check those two resources out. I think they will be beneficial to you as you're drafting out your vision, mission, and values. I'm trying to say it too fast. Okay. My second tip and area that I want you to focus on as you're getting grant ready is your activities and your experience. So, your business activities are the tasks and the processes that you perform to generate a profit, or if you're a nonprofit, to generate impact. And these activities can include anything from research and development, marketing, customer service, production, distribution, your actual programs, um, training and working with your volunteers, all of these things, the tasks and the things that you do to operate your business operations, is a part of your activities and your experiences. And they're going to vary depending on the type of organization, your size, what services you're offering, what products you offer. Again, I work with both for profit and nonprofit businesses. So I'm trying to make this all encompassing for all of you all, and businesses. In both categories function differently. A lot of nonprofit organizations activities look like, recruiting members for their programs and volunteers for their programs. And maybe, you're starting off with a small team and board member training, all of those things. This is really, really important. I get a lot of new business owners who are interested in grant writing, and they say to me, I don't think I'm going to get the grant because this business says, this foundation wants to see a business who has business activities for the last 3 years, but I don't think I've been, have anything to present. And sometimes when we get on a consulting call, we kind of find out maybe you have had some activities that you've, done in a beta type way in the past 2 or 3 years that can be included in this grant proposal. Don't dismiss or, diminish the work that you've been doing because you think it doesn't apply. It very well could apply. So it's important to get on the phone with me to discuss your vision, to discuss your activities, because I may see something there that you don't even recognize that you're saying or seeing. But tracking these things is so important for you so that you know what it is that you've been doing in business. One of the most humbling activities I have ever done as a business owner is an activity timeline. So this is my challenge for you, as you go through this training, is to create an activity timeline. Firstly, a business activity timeline is a visual representation of the tasks and objectives that need to be completed in order for a business to reach its goals. So this can kind of work in one of two ways, and I'm going to challenge you to do them in both ways because you're ambitious, overachieving, want to be successful business owner, right? So you can do all the wonderful things, and I want you to try these two. One is that business owners are proactive, meaning you want to outline these key activities and milestones and due dates proactively, meaning over the course of the next 3 years, here's how I want to grow out my business. And here's how I'm going to measure success is with these milestones. First, we're going to do this, and then we're going to hire the team, and then we're going to build out here, and then we're going to make a location here. Then we're going to expand to this location or these schools or these cities or however it is that you want to present your project or your program or the thing that you're applying for funding for. You want to do those things proactively, but also in a kind of reactive way. Hopefully, you've been doing this. If not, it's okay. We've all been there before. You want to sit down and write out all the things that your business has accomplished thus far. One of the most ineffective habits of CEOs and entrepreneurs is the need to feel really busy. And they feel busy all the time. And it just feels like, oh, I'm so busy doing all the things. I'm just so exhausted. But then when you sit down and write down this activity timeline, and it's like, what have you actually done and accomplished in your business? And you start to realize, man, I haven't been doing anything. No, I haven't reached any milestones. I've just been really, 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 really busy doing the work of 50,000 people that I should be passing these and delegating these tasks along to someone else so that I can accomplish more milestones in my business. That's why I said it's one of the most humbling activities I have ever done as a business owner because it makes me put my money where my mouth is, and it makes me it's more of like an accountability system. It makes me accountable to the work that I've been doing. It makes me accountable to my time. It makes me accountable to this business if I look at a milestone marker and I realize that it hasn't even been met yet because I've been doing a whole bunch of other things like checking email and making social media posts and doing all these other things that aren't really the movers, the things that's going to help you move towards these milestones. And so it really does help keep the team organized and focused on the goals and make sure that deadlines are being met. And it just, to me, is a really great accountability tracker. So you can go Google some pictures for purposes of this training to see many of the ways that, activity timelines are created, or if you and I work together, I share samples with you. I can help you create these on your for your business or organization as well. If you do find yourself busy doing all the things, you do need to delegate out, and that's what I'm here for, is to support you in this role. So I can also share some of the ones that I have, but it is as simple as a quick Google search. So you want to track the things that you want to measure. You want to measure business success. It requires tracking. You're going to have to track your activities, track how your time is spent, track how your budget and your money is spent within your business, because those are the things that sometimes grants and foundations and corporations and sponsors want to see is, what have you done so far? How do I know if I give you this money that you will be successful with this project? Show me how, or your track record for success in the little things, and then I'll decide if I want to fund your bigger projects. It's a little bit of um, them checking up on your character and the things that you say, so they can see, is this something that a project that I want to get behind, or these people that I want to get behind? That's equally as important. Sometimes I think we think organization to organization, but we're really people to people, and habits to habits, and successes to successes. And that's how you will build and grow as a business owner in the things that you do. So make sure that you are tracking these things and that you're actually checking the things that you track. Create a CEO dashboard and start to, track KPIs for your business. And I can get into what all those things mean with you in another training, where we can really delve deep into some of the KPIs that you want to track. And that can range depending on if you're a nonprofit or for profit or what industries you're in. Some of those KPIs kind of change a little, but there are certain things that you should be tracking in your business anyway, but they are really beneficial when it comes down to applying for funding. Another thing that's just really interesting to me, so interesting, is that people come to me and say, "Hey, Regina, I really need to fund this big project." And I'm like, "Sure, how much are you looking for?" And I've heard some outrageous numbers. I've heard I need 50K. I've heard I need 100K. I've heard I need 2 million. And I'm like, "Okay, cool. Where's your budget? What are we working on? What are we trying to fund?" And they're like, "I don't have a budget." And I'm like, "Well, how do you know you need 50K or 100K or 2 million and you don't have a budget?" Because it just seems like it's the right number for what I'm trying to do. And that's a really difficult place to find yourself in as a business owner, because it seems to me that you're just throwing a number in the air and you don't even really know what you're trying to fund anyway. That's not a good thing. As a business owner, you need to create a business budget. It's your financial plan. It's outlining how you plan on making money, what expenses you need to have covered over a period of time. And I'm going to tell you, if you hate creating budgets, then you probably should not be in business. You're going to need a variety of budgets. You might need a 1 year budget, a 5 year budget, a 10-year budget, a startup budget, a program budget, a project budget. And we get into the types of budgets here. You're going to have a lot of them, your operational budget. And funders want to see these things. You may have an operating budget for your entire business, but you're applying for funding for a specific program. You may say the program is going to cost me $5,000. I'm looking for y'all to cover some after school snacks for our after school program. That's what this is for. It's for snacks and food from a food service company. That food service company may say, cool, I can meet the $5,000 program budget, but I also want to see how this fits in into your greater operational budget because they just want to see that you have one. And sometimes people create the program budget because they think it'll just apply for that grant. But I'm like, how are you functioning without an operating budget? How are you doing your day to day operations? How do you know what you need without first having the operating budget? When you're first starting out, your startup budget is very different from your operational budget, which is very different from your program budget, which is very different from your project budget, which can be different from a staffing budget. It just depends on what the requirements from the founder is asking you for. But as a business owner, you should be looking at these numbers anyway. You might be saying within my operational budget, I have my expenses, I have rent for the place, I have internet, I have phone in there, I have um, what I'm paying in terms of wages. You have your workman's comp in there. You have your supplies in there for your business. You have your website domain and hosting. You have email hosting. You have all these things that will allow your business to operate. But then separately, you have a separate program. You're saying, you know what, I want us to do a mentoring program, and that's this new program that's going to require um, new supplies and new people to come in and new processes and new software. So that's something completely different. It may be like a one time thing, it may be an annual thing, but it's just a separate expense sheet and it shows what you need, how much you plan on making. It shows your projections. It shows that you have given the thing that you need money for thought and that you're not just pulling a random number out of your hat and saying, you know what, I think I need about $50,000. Because guess what? Nobody's going to fund your $50,000. Secondly, most budgets are not really sweet numbers like that, like 50K, 100K. It typically is very, 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 very specific. Creating a budget and how I, as a grant writer and business owner, view budgets and meeting budgets. I believe the more and more I talk about this is very unique to me. And I've realized that that's how some people fund their budgets by just creating a budget and then trying to find grants of like, okay, if I have an operating budget, let's say it's $150,000 a year, they look for like 100K financing options somewhere else, 5K budgets here, 10K budgets there, and try to meet their budget that way. But for me, I look at a variety or diverse funding options because I don't think any one person should fund your entire business. Most people do not fund your entire business. You're going to have to go from a variety of funding sources. And so, we, during our consultation, if you and I decide to work together, I share my strategies on how I use your budget to help you find funding. And again, it's just there to help you allocate resources, to help you meet your operational budgets, to pay yourself, which a lot of people do not do. They end up putting their own wages and self on the back burner to meet, getting a pack of paper from a funder. And I'm like, dude, you're a whole human being with a whole life and bills and a home and a family. You got to pay yourself. And most people then go lowball when it comes to, what you want to pay yourself. I'm like, write in your ideal salary, please. Please go on, officedepot.com and actually look at how much packs of papers and pens and everything cost. Do not just randomly guess weird random numbers. You're going to have to get online and you're going to have to do a lot of research to plug and play actual factual numbers into these budgets so that you can actually get what you need. And when it comes to this, I say sky's the limit. Don't go low, go high. Because at the end of the day, if you go high and they can only match your low, then you've at least made, a happy medium. But if you're not even, trying to strive for your numbers, then you're working with pennies and you're not going to be able to create the impact and influence that I know is inside of that brilliant brain of yours and into these brilliant businesses that you guys need funding for. So go high with your numbers. Ask for what you need. Do not be afraid of money. If you have some issues with money, you're going to have to address those things before you get into business, because this is one of those places where it really, really, really shows who is comfortable and who is confident in their business and their leadership abilities. It shows up in the budget. Trust me. And it's one of the things that I've learned over time. So get your budgets in order. Create multiple budgets for your business. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And that comes to these finances too. We do all the things, creating wonderful business plans, and I know exactly which social media platform I'm going to be on. But then when it comes to money, we have no clue how to operate. No more of that stinking thinking. Get these budgets in place and know your numbers, especially if you're asking somebody else for money and you don't even know your own money. That's not good. It's not good. So I'm challenging you. Create these multiple budgets. Again, if you need help and you need assistance, you need examples, or you just need somebody else to kind of think through it with you, this is what I'm here for. That is the purpose of this training. Next area you want to start to think about is your team. So, your business team is a group of individuals who work together to achieve the goals of an organization. But, Regina, I'm a solopreneur. It's only me. I don't even have any money. I can't afford a team. Okay, guess what? In the beginning, you're going to get a volunteer team. Guess what? In the beginning, you're going to get a board. You're going to get an advisory board. It just says a group of individuals. It does not say that these are paid individuals. It just says a group of individuals who are working together to achieve the goals of an organization. There are often times that the grants or funders or sponsorships, whomever, will ask who is on your team because they want to make sure that you have the capacity and the bandwidth to be able to make your project successful. And you're sitting up here thinking you can't pay no people, so you're not asking people for help. That's okay. If you're even if you're not a nonprofit organization, you're saying, we're for profit, we're a corporation. I don't function on volunteers. You can in the beginning. Who says you can't? Who says that you can't? You just need to be very clear with people that they are operating in a volunteer capacity. When you all start to make money, you can exchange those positions out and create paid opportunities. They can become independent contractors, they can become employees, however it is that you choose to manage your business. But you got to pull a team of people together who are willing to work together to create and make something happen that will create the success of your program or project that you're trying to get funded, or if it's your business or organization that you're trying to get funding for. The gray area here is when people don't create these things right here. A business team should have clearly defined roles, responsibilities, and objectives in order to be successful. You know what I see a lot of solopreneurs, newbie entrepreneurs do is they make lists of who they want to have on their team and they make job descriptions, sometimes not, for everybody else except themselves. What is it specifically that you are supposed to be doing? And then what is it specifically that the rest of the people that you want to have work for you are supposed to be doing? This was made clear when I did my first hires in my nonprofit. This was made clear when I hired my first VA in my for profit. There were so many things that I was used to doing because I was used to being a jack of all trades, which was highly ineffective for anybody to function in, that when it came time to delegate the work, I didn't know specifically what I wanted them to do. And I had some rock star people that were moving really fast in their defined role and they wanted more challenging work. They wanted more responsibilities. So you really do need to think through, especially if you're a founder of an organization or if you are in that seat of being an executive in your organization, these things not only need to be thought through, but they need to actually be written and created. So, my next tip for you is to create job descriptions for you and your dream team, even if those are volunteers. Everybody needs to have clearly defined roles, responsibilities, and the objectives. What's the goal? What is the purpose of your role to this team? How will you know if you are successful in that job? How will you know when it's time to kick somebody off the team and say, your services are no longer needed here because we're not working together in a way that will help them to, reach that objective is really, really, really important. So make sure that you have those job descriptions for you and for your dream team, even if they are volunteers. And then lastly, it's so important as you're working on your funding is to work on your presence and your branding. I can't tell you how many people have trashy branding and trashy online presence or non-existence online presence. And I'm like, don't you think in the day and age that we live in, the first thing that people are going to do if they want to know about you is Google you. They're going to put your name in, they're going to put the name of your business, and nothing comes up. Even for those who say, well, I'm just getting started. Well, just get started with a website, a basic, simple website. It doesn't have to be perfection, it doesn't have to be beautiful. A simple, free website that shows me what is your mission, what is your vision, what are your values, who are you, who is on your team, what are y'all trying to do, what is the purpose behind your business, where can I learn more about you. Everything about your presence, from the way that you write, the way that you articulate yourself, even if you're creating a YouTube video or something that you whipped out with your phone to tell me 5 minutes about yourself, about your personal mission, why is this important to you, um, inviting people to come on board, all of those things are so important because it's the first thing any natural person would do. It's probably the first thing that you do when you find out about people. It's like, who is this? Who is this chick? Who is this company? Who is this? And I'm like, just Google me. Just Google me. You can find everything you want to know about me because I've spent a lot of time focusing on my presence and focusing on my branding. And I'm finding that I need more opportunities to present more of the work that I'm doing across media. So, right now, as an entrepreneur, I'm really focused on grabbing media opportunities because I want to have more of an online web presence. You will have to decide for you what is going to be the catalyst for you and how you can share your work. But I can tell you right now that online is a biggie, but also your community presence. Who else knows about you? Who else knows about the work that you're doing? How are you reaching out to your communities to support that community, even if it's in a really small way right now until you get to your big thing that you get funded? Let's say you need $100,000 to start a mentoring program. And I keep saying mentoring program because this is my zone of genius. Let's say you don't have enough money to get the thing done the way that you want to do it with the partners and all the people that you need on board. Where can you do like a mini version, just a beta test, the big thing, so that you can just show we tried this with 5 girls here and it was really effective. They had wonderful outcomes. And I know if we replicate this model with 100 or 25 or however many you're trying to, get funding for, that we can be equally as successful with your support. You see how big of a difference that makes for them to know, hey, they didn't have the money to do it with the little, I mean, with at the scale that they wanted to do it, but they started off with something small. It worked, it was effective. Now they need this money to support a bigger team, more materials, and to do it in a greater way at scale and be equally as effective. There are so many times and opportunities. It's like if you say that this is what you want, show me what you are waiting on by showing me what you are working on. If you are waiting for the big shebang, the big check, the big whatever, the big breakthrough, show me what you are waiting on by showing me the smaller thing that you are working on right now. This goes back to the activity timeline. Do not waste your time sitting here complaining that you don't have the money to do the things. Try it a small, mini version, quality, but mini version of what you want to do. And if you need some ideas on how you can present a smaller beta test of what the bigger picture is, again, that's what you hire a consultant for. That's what I'm here for, to assist you with. But please don't just sit around and do nothing and then just boom, ask for money and expect to be successful. May not work out the best for you. And I want what's best for you. So, as we talk about prepping, the whole purpose of this is to get ready, get grant ready. You want to then focus on revising your mission, vision, and values, memorizing it if you haven't already. This needs to flow from your mouth in every conversation you have. Hey, I'm the CEO of this, I'm the executive director of this, I'm the president of this, and here's what we do here. Here's why it's important. Can I interest you in learning more about our work? Can I invite you to learn more about our work? Can I invite you to this meeting? Can I invite you to this Zoom? Can I invite you to this town hall? Constant conversations around mission, vision, values all day long. So get comfortable with it because that's your new role. You want to have your business a bank account set up. A lot of folks asking for money don't even have the bank account set up yet. You see how backwards this sounds? And it's crazy. I can't tell you the countless number of conversations I have with people. It's like, sweetheart, if I wanted to write you a $10,000 check today, you don't even have an account to take it. They're not going to accept Cash App. No, they're not doing PayPal. Where is your actual business bank account, merchant account? Set those things up, have them ready to go, have your checks ready, have your debit card ready, have your credit card ready. Get your business banking in order, separate from your personal. Set up your donation pages, investment pages. I didn't even talk about this, but this is a huge part of this on your websites. We talked about web presence. If you're asking for donations, if I wanted to give to you, do you even have the back end of that set up? That typically requires a program set up. That typically requires that bank account be in place. That requires um, systems that will, give out a receipt to someone once they make a donation, a thank you letter process. There are systems that have to go into place for what happens after someone gives a donation. How can they designate a donation? Can they do monthly giving, one time giving? It's so many different options when it comes to donations. But if you are for profit and somebody says, you know what, I love it, I want to invest in what you're doing, you have crowdfunding opportunities, you have investment pages and slide decks that need to be created so someone can understand more about your numbers and your minimal viable projects, all of the things that you should have thought through as a business owner in a business prior to even opening your hand asking anybody for a dime. And the thing about it is, this is where I lose a lot of people because they say, man, she was probably kind of mean or rude because they don't want to do the work. And that's okay because that means that you're not my ideal client. I want to work with people who are serious about their business and serious about being a successful leader and business owner because you want to create something that's sustainable, that is long lasting, so that you can experience success, not fake success, not temporary success, not short term success. We want long term sustainability and success for you. If that requires for you to do a little prep work on the front end and get out your feelings, then that's what I want you to do. Like, I don't think people get that. They just hang up the phone sometimes and they're like, "Ugh, she's giving me too much work. Let me go ahead and get on the phone with somebody else who's going to make it easy for me and tell me what I want to hear and not actually what needs to be done." So if you and I are ever on a conversation or phone call together and I rattle off a bunch of to do work for you, it's because it's the stuff that you're going to have to do anyway. You're either going to do it now or you're going to figure out later on when somebody else is taking your money that you didn't do this, and it's like, how can you write a grant for me for a fake program or a fake project that never existed because you didn't even have these things in place? You understand what I'm saying? So please take the integrity of your work and your business and your time seriously because I do and value mine as well. And again, once you have these things in place, it makes our work together so much easier. But if it's something that you're looking at this list and you're saying, I don't have this stuff in place, I'm going to need some help. I don't know where to get started. I need help with everything or just a few things. Great consultants do great work for you, especially ones who are, um, multifaceted and multi-talented and dynamic as myself. I'm going to toot my own horn because it is what it is. I am. And I would love to support you in that capacity. So you also want to create program and business budgets. Again, we're going to have multiple budgets in the business. So you might as well go ahead and know your numbers now. You want to focus on your needs statements. This is written in video. Why does your business exist? Why does this program need to exist? Is there a demand for it? Is there a need for it? Where have you shown the research of your industry? Um, One of the catalysts of my work I realized was I wasn't an effective communicator. I knew what I wanted to do. I wasn't good at articulating it. Once I got good at articulating it, I made sure that it was spread across all marketing materials. And I would incorporate research from white papers, from reports about why a mentoring program needed to exist. And it needs to be something outside of yourself, meaning you may have started your business because something is your passion. And I hear a lot of passionpreneurs say, I started this business because it means a lot to me, or it's, a skill that's been passed down through your family, or a need that you saw in your community, but it's not supported with research. Research gets revenue. Research gets investors. Research gets funding because it allows you to refine, even sometimes, your own project and your own program because you realize that the research doesn't match what you were doing anyway. So you then go back and change the work that you were doing, and it becomes not so much a passion of yours, but a demand and a need that you now have the capacity and skills to meet through the demand from the research that you've conducted. So it has a flow, but it has an order that requires you to get and pull articles. It requires you to pull white pages. It requires you to pull um, from journals. It requires you to pull from magazines. It requires you to pull from media the things that you know and actually put it together on a page that shows other people, wow, you know, what do you mean like 1 in 3 kids doesn't have a mentor and will get into risky behaviors? Wow, we need to really focus on this. It's a problem in our community. It then becomes something where you're inviting people to be a part of a solution rather than saying my business is broke, we need some money, we know y'all got it, come on, help us, which is a place of desperation that a lot of solopreneurs and business owners operate from. Let's just keep it a buck. We want to position ourselves to where you have it so sweet, it's so gravy that people are just vying to give to you to support the work that you're doing. And this is how I've literally gotten sponsorships, I've gotten funding, and I've gotten grants that I never applied for when I got very specific on the research. What I know that I have the capacity to do, pulling in team members who also have capacity, and then creating a bomb need statement and having that both written and in video form available for opportunities. And I have found, and I know that Oprah Winfrey says this, when preparation meets opportunity, you experience success. Prep in the beginning, be ready for the opportunity, you'll be successful in your work. Create your activity timeline. Remember, do the proactive one where you're looking ahead and saying, this is what it looks like for 2 years for us to be successful. Here's what milestones we need to meet in the next year for us to be successful. 5 year. I like to do 1 year, 5 year, 10 year plans. But then also take account and take inventory of the things that you've already done because you may find, you feel like I'm not doing enough, I could do better. Then you sit and look at this timeline, you think to yourself, wow, we really have done a really great job. And take opportunities to celebrate yourself and how far you have come in your business, even if it is doing a lot of research. We've been doing a lot of writing, we've been doing a lot of document creating. You're doing the prep work that's necessary for you to be successful in your future, and that's worth celebrating. You also want to create those job descriptions for your team members, your dream team for you. Even if it's your volunteers, you're being very specific about your roles and your responsibilities and your objectives that everyone is looking to accomplish for the greater good to support your mission, your vision, and your values. You're setting up that website, you're setting up professional email, you're setting up the stationery, you're setting up um, the confidentiality statement that goes at the bottom of your email. You're really presenting a beautiful, wonderful, well put together, well thought out business, and you're keeping in mind your overall goal and mission in everything that you do. Your values are communicated. You're looking for other partners, and you're inviting them into the splendor that is you and your business. And I think once you get this prep work down packed, and again, I'm here to support you through it. If this looks and feels overwhelming right now, we just want to prepare and have things in place so that you can be successful when it comes to applying for grants. Grant writing is not hard. It's that many people don't want to do the work that's required and necessary to be great at it. It's just a matter of writing, it's a matter of choosing the right words, it's a matter of really presenting all of these things that you've thought through out in such a way that just welcomes people to just say yes to you because you've done such a fantastic job for prepping. And now I want to invite you for us to work together. Like I said, I help businesses with grant writing and prospecting. Prospecting is finding opportunities that your business may be eligible for. And that is already a really lengthy process. It requires a lot of research and searching. There are some people who have come to me and said, I don't need your help with that. I just need you to write the grants. And I'm like, you probably do need my help with this. It's really good to not come to me being a know it all because I'm a really knowledgeable person, I'm a really helpful person, I'm a really resourceful person. And again, I've been doing this for so long that I've realized and come to know when someone gets on a phone call with me and they're sharing their vision, my one of my gifts and one of my areas of expertise is, of why I'm consulting now is I hear opportunities when people talk. They say to me, I'm looking to get money for a specific program and I see an opportunity for you to get money for operating costs. I see you, being able to get money to create it and develop your HR department. That's a whole separate grant, which could require software and um, document creation, marketing. I see just a multitude of opportunities for you to fund your business. I see, I'm like, you could partner with this place, and this place offers a discount. If you don't end up getting it, it's heavily discounted for people in your industry. I do a lot of reading, researching when it comes to business, when it comes to industry knowledge, and I'm a wealth of information you really want to tap into. So that prospecting, it encompasses not only just doing grant researching for you, but I will always share. You know what? I know another company that's in your area that's a top corporation that you may want to present something to and ask them to sponsor this particular line item on your budget as opposed to applying for a grant. Like this would be more effective strategy for you as we work on your funding plan together. So that prospecting comes um, with our consulting call, and I'll share strategies like that with you when I see them, I see an opportunity presented in your work. But I also will simply do grant writing if that is something that you say, here's a grant. I know that they can cover what it is that we're trying to work on or this aspect of things. Can you help me work on it? You may have something that you've applied for the past 3 years on your own and you're not successful with it and you want some assistance with that. So it's a little bit of both when it comes to grant writing and prospecting. The setup for success bundle is something that we look like this. The prep work that needs to be done, I'll help you get set up for success in your business by doing a lot of that prep work for you. If you're saying, you know what, this sounds great, but I don't have the time, I don't have the capacity, I'm trying to focus on X, Y, and Z. Is this something that you can help me? Or if you know that you move slow and you need to move a little bit faster, your execution needs speed, you know, two heads are better than one, and we can work together on that. I also want to point out this guide right here, Self Funded to Sustainable Funding Strategies for Edupreneurs. I wrote this specifically for edupreneurs, but there are business strategies that anyone in any industry can help that will help you to think about the funding model differently. Again, that's what I said. I like to think outside the box when it comes to funding because people get scared when it comes to money, and they get more nervous, if they apply for a grant and they, don't get it. It's like, oh, I didn't get that one. So what else can I do? You can use these other strategies to be bringing in money in the interim of you waiting on a grant or waiting for a check to process or waiting for a deposit to hit your bank account. There are other strategies in this book that you can utilize. And you can find that guide at motivator.shop. It should be there on the front page for you because I list all of my books there. But if you don't see it right away, just type in either 20 strategies or self funded to sustainable and it should pop up. If you have any questions, now that we're at the conclusion of this training, feel free to email me, regina@reginacoley.com. If you are ready to jump on this thing and say, let's work together, go to reginacoley.com/grants. there are three packages available for you. One where I can work for you, one where I can work with you, or one where I completely take over and do all the work for you. So there's a couple of options there with you, depending on how involved you want me to be in the project and depending on what your budget is like. I could answer one question for you now that I get a lot as well is, can I write you into my grant? No, you may not. You may pay me ahead of time to begin working for you, because that is not an effective strategy. And it's kind of bad advice that I'm hearing going around, where grant writers are writing their fees into the grant. And let's just say you don't get that grant, then I have worked for you for free, and that is not effective. Again, I am in business, and the same way that you value your work and your time and your expertise, I value mine as well. So go here, check out the packages, find what works for you. I do offer pay in four options. If you see something there and you're trying to figure out how you can work it out. There is a partnership that I have with PayPal, as well as Sezzle, Klarna, all those pay it for options that are now available for people to be more effective with their purchases and spread things out over time, which is really awesome. I offer those opportunities in my business as well. Take advantage of them if you need them. If you have questions, or anything that I didn't cover today and you don't want to email me because you are a talker, we can hop on the phone together as well. 844-802-0802. If you visit reginacoley.com, there's also a chat feature at the bottom of the screen. You can feel free to drop in and chat with me with any questions that you have or clarity that you need around a particular topic or subject, or if you're working on something and you're just like, hey, I may need to schedule a strategy session with you, or a consulting session with you, just to talk through some things that I'm thinking about or wanting to work on. Tap in. I am here for your benefit. I am here because I want you to be successful. I want you to maximize your time. I want you to be effective in your impact and get the income that you need to support the work that you are doing. Um, I've been there. I've been in your shoes. It's exciting. I don't want you to be fearful about money. I don't want you to be fearful about budgets. There is an opportunity for me to teach and train and help you to be able to, maximize on a skill that will serve you for the rest of your life as you function in your capacity as leader and business owner. I hope that you found these resources helpful. I hope that you have found this business success training helpful, and I look forward to serving you in the next one. Again, reach out to me by any of these means of communication. Grab a hold of the bundles and the books, and I hope that we have an opportunity to work together real soon. Take care